Welcome, Sagittarius risings, to your astrology report for the month of August 2024. Okay, Sagittarius rising, your ruling planet is Jupiter. Your rising sign is all to do with your first house. You're a yang, mutable fire rising sign. And before we get into it, I would like to say thank you. I've reached over 12,000 views on my YouTube channel and it is growing, and it's all thanks to astrology enthusiasts such as yourself and people that also may be interested in tarot that I also have on my Cosmic Girl 101 YouTube channel. So a big thank you, and let's get into the month of August for you, Sagittarius rising. So first things first, we'll have a look at the slower planetary transits. We've got, for you as a Sagittarius rising, Pluto retrograding in your third house being Aquarius and retrogrades into your second house of Capricorn on the 1st of September. Neptune is retrograde in Pisces, your fourth house, and goes direct on December 7. Uranus is direct in Taurus, your sixth house, and retrogrades on the 1st of September. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces, your fourth house, and goes direct November 15. And your ruling planet Jupiter is direct in the sign of Gemini, your seventh house, and retrogrades in October. The sun is transiting through the sign of Leo, opening up the month of August. And this is your ninth house, Sagittarius rising. So the sun is all about illumination, where we're putting a lot of energy towards what we are ambitious about. And it's all about the ninth house. And this ninth house for you trines your first house, Sagittarius rising. So it may be easier to deal with the ninth house topics of media and publishing, communications, international and foreign connections, or the interests of them, interested in traveling, interests in different cultures, looking at physical travel, wanting to change up your spiritual and philosophical outlooks of life, or just being more interested in the spiritual aspect of yourself and connecting with others of like mind. This house also has a lot to do with legalities, higher institutions, and academia, where we expand our horizons through our education. So these topics are possibly something that is a little bit easier for you to chew over, opening up the month of August. On the 7th of August, the sun is going to sextile your ruling planet Jupiter in the sign of Gemini, your seventh house. Now, a sextile is an easier aspect, so it may be easier to communicate with a partner about these ninth house topics, or there may be some potential agreements or going into contracts with the ninth house topics, being legalities, learning about higher education, media and publishing. This is where you can connect with people a lot more organically. Things are flowing in regards to information, intel, and actual contracts and agreements. On the 18th of August, the sun is conjuncting retrograde Mercury in Leo. Now, a conjunction with Mercury and the sun is a very heightened day for communication or mental stimulation. Also speaking about things of a financial nature connected with the ninth house topics on this day. The 19th, we see the sun squaring Uranus in Taurus, your sixth house. Now, a sun-Uranus square is a peculiar aspect with these planets, quite simply because the sun is very much about the constant. It's very obvious. It's very bright. Squaring the planet Uranus, which is a planet that has the characteristics, if you will, of being odd, peculiar in nature, very acute and disruptive, but very future-oriented and innovative and about freedom. So this possibly a moment, if you will, in time for you as a Sagittarius rising on the 19th, where you may be overwhelmed or feel that there's a tension of being stuck in your everyday environment with work, co-workers, services you provide to other people, or potentially your physical health or things to do with your physical health regimes, you just may feel a little bit cramped or stifled on this day, wanting to liberate yourself, or it might be an illumination that comes into your psychic awareness that you're pulled down by the everyday grind. And this could be a frustrating day on the 19th of August. The 22nd of August, the sun is going to ingress into the sign of Virgo until the 22nd of September, your 10th house. So the next 4 weeks from the 22nd onwards, the sun ingressing into a 10th house position is illuminating, if you will, the work and the effort needed in regards to driving your career along. And you could be very critical, analytical. You could be more involved with data, communications, and also reading and writing projects connected to your 10th house and your career. And Virgo is very good at accumulating a lot of information, dissecting it, and then transferring it into more palatable, easy to digest information moving forward in regards to nutting out nuances connected with the 10th house and things that need to be more streamlined for you. Now, the 10th house does square your first house, Sagittarius rising. So I'm wondering if this transit is going to make you feel tired, or possibly feel like you're carrying the weight of the weight on your shoulders about responsibility and leadership in regards to your career and workplace. Interesting transit coming up with that sun in the 10th for you as a Sagittarius rising. Sagittarius rising, we have a new moon for you in Leo on the 4th of August, occurring in your 9th house. A new beginning, ready to commit, ready to anchor in and accept that you don't know it all when it comes to how to transform a learning educational path. You may be ready to anchor into a commitment with a course, learn something from a teacher so you can have a niche skill that makes you feel more educated, more fluent in a subject that you are interested in. So we're talking Braveheart vibes, courage and truth and passion. And you could be taking on more of a ambassador boss vibes here as well. You're ready to be an advocate for an underdog connected to culture, education, media and publishing, and also spiritual and philosophical aspects of yourself. So it's a big day where you're ready to commit and you're feeling very anchored and very certain that the path forward connected to these new beginnings is certainly going to make you feel that you're part of something bigger. On the 19th of August, there's a full moon in Aquarius, your 3rd house. And the 3rd house opposes the 9th house. So when you have a full moon opening up here on the 19th of August, we have a completion occurring, or at least the acknowledgement that you may have fallen short in regards to feeling well-rounded and well-educated in a particular part of your experience. An environment may be stifling you. You may feel you need to break free proverbially from some very status quo aspects of your journey to date. And I've got the words connected to logic takes precedence, our tribe, and how we unite. So you may be ready to integrate and expand your environment and your horizons connected to education, especially to do with information and technology. So there's an acknowledgement here that I need to step it up a bit and be a little bit different and come from the left field when it comes to my environment, education and teaching. So it's a nice day on the 19th of August to acknowledge that you're ready to upgrade, especially when it comes to learning something. So for me, for you, Sagittarius rising, this month is all about education and your philosophical aspect of life and how you connect and communicate with others on a whole. And again, that real ambassador boss vibes I'm getting, you may be just ready to take more of a leadership role than you have done for some time, connected with people in your tribe. Planet Mercury. Well, for you, Sagittarius rising, Mercury's been transiting in Virgo, your 10th house. And Mercury in Virgo is a strong placement because Mercury is exalted and in its domicile sign of Virgo, and it operates well in data, analytics, cerebral aspects of the self, understanding, education, movement, also diversity and different aspects connected to all things Virgoan. So what are we talking about firstly about understanding Virgo? Well, Virgo is all about give me information, give me intel. I will listen to different options, different opinions, but I'll sit with them, I'll transport them, and I'll make it more palatable and easier to digest. I will come up with my own unique idea. I will understand what works and what doesn't. So Mercury going through Virgo in your 10th house, you're getting on top of the nuances connected to your career, connected to your professional path forward. And this can be changes in procedures and policies in the workplace, or you may be aware of needing to upgrade a skill or get on top of processing information quickly or being more efficient in the workplace when you've got that Mercury in that strong place of Virgo, your 10th house. Little rant there, but necessary, because this is what I think you're dealing with here, is escalating understanding in the workplace a lot more efficiently. On the 5th of August, Mercury goes into a retrograde. Okay, so now when we've got Mercury, this efficient planet in Virgo retrograding, this is where you may be feeling that there's people in the workplace that are dropping the ball and is frustrating you. You may need to step it up in as much as leadership roles, feeling like you need to corral the team to get them going or moving or get on board at least. So just expect people to be a little bit lazier when Mercury is retrograding in that 10th house. And that could be frustrating for you to get a job done or feel like there's flow. On the 7th of August, Mercury is conjuncting Venus. So Mercury-Venus conjunction is knowing the value and knowing, if the juice is worth the squeeze in regards to communication styles and relationships with people in your professional space. An interesting day on the 7th. The 14th of August, Mercury is ingressing in a retrograde motion into Leo, your 9th house. So Mercury retrograding in the sign of Leo, the sun sign, your 9th house. There is possibly feeling that you need to look at some legal aspects of your profession, or at least acknowledge that there may be more education needed or a different legal aspect needs to be mulled over connected to your professional life when Mercury dips back from the 10th into the 9th. On the 24th of August, Mercury is sextiling Mars in Gemini, co-present with your ruling planet Jupiter, your 7th house. Now, a Mercury-Mars sextile from the 9th to the 7th just looks like the job can get done a lot more efficiently. Relationships and communication is a lot more fluid and easier. People are on board on this day and connecting with you harmoniously. So if you need documents looked at, fine print looked at, especially financial aspects of an agreement or especially with a partner, this is a great day to get things sorted. On the 28th of August, Mercury goes direct now in Leo, your 9th house. This is where you find traction again, and the traction is understanding. Things are more palatable. You've gone over the nuances connected to details, data, and analytics, and feeling like you can move forward more organically. You don't feel so shaky. You feel a lot more certain. So you've been doing the work and things are coming together nicely when Mercury now moves direct to the 9th house and then goes back into your 10th house. Planet Mars. This planet is transiting for the whole month of August in the sign of Gemini, your 7th house. Mars in Gemini is sharp intellect, direct speech, quickening, like an acceleration. In your seventh house, getting things done, feeling very rambunctious and no bullshit attitude when Mars is transiting in the sign of Gemini, your seventh house. Very good at articulating and expressing conflict, expressing frustration, expressing the need to move. On the 14th of August, Mars is conjuncting Jupiter, your ruling planet. Inflammation is the word that I have described, the flavor, if you will, of this conjunction on this day. Now, Mars is all about the action conjuncting your ruling planet, Jupiter, which rules your first house of the body, your psychology, how people see you, your character. So when I think about this day for you, Sagittarius rising, I think about you being very brave and bold and expressing in a very direct way what is working and what is not working, connected to relationships, partners, marriage, agreements, contracts, and negotiations that you may be intertwined with. This is where you could blow your top, you could sever something very acutely connected to those seventh house topics, or be a little bit more vocal on this day. So the 14th of August, if you will, is lit with potential of explosive moments and expression. Very dynamic day on the 14th of August. And basically, Mars flying through Gemini for the month of August. This day could be the necessary conflict or expression that clears the air and things can move forward more balanced, creating more certainty connected to the seventh house topics of marriage, agreement, contracts, negotiations. And if you are a single Sagittarius rising, this is where you could meet your potential person for the future as well. So it's an exciting day. But if you're in a commitment with a specific person, being through marriage or a relationship, this is the day where the gun goes off, if you will, and going in a new direction and expressing from the heart. Very interesting day on the 14th of August. Planet Venus, our personal planet Venus. Well, she's very busy in the month of August, so let's get into it for you. She's been transiting in Leo, your ninth house, and on the 2nd of August, squares Uranus. And Uranus is transiting in that sixth house for you, Taurus. Now, this is Venus's domicile sign, Taurus, and when Venus is squaring her own place, she's asking you to be a little bit more aware of creating freedom that feels in line with you and your values. So what are we talking about with freedom and values with Venus from the 6th to the 9th house? Well, believing that we can create more harmony in our work, in our everyday life, connected to our spiritual beliefs and higher perspectives of connections in the outside world. But it is a difficult day because Venus squaring that freedom-oriented Uranus could have you feeling very stuck and needing to break loose from the sixth house topics of the daily grind. On the 4th of August, Venus is ingressing into Virgo, her fall sign, your 10th house. Now, Venus in the 10th, this is where you create harmony through eliminating disruption, chaos, and feelings of separation. This is where we want to integrate and create more support in the workplace and could be feeling very analytical, highly critical. You may be critical, or higher ups or authorities in your workplace may be critical at this time. But what is trying to be developed here is a sense of unity in our career house. So Venus here can be helpful, but at times be a little bit nitpicky. On the 22nd of August, Venus is squaring Mars in Gemini, your 7th house. So we've got Venus and Mars, two very different planets, squaring each other. Differences in values with money and relationships connected to your career. A significant partnership or an agreement may need to be overlooked or reconsidered or changed on this day, but it's difficult. We're trying to eliminate tension on this day. So take a beat, take your time on the 22nd of August. The 27th, we've got Venus trining Uranus and Taurus, your sixth house. There's a loosening up of the bonds, if you will. Things are becoming a little bit more palatable, connected to your career and your everyday grind, and potentially with your health. Things are now settling down. So it's a nice, easier day on the 27th of August. The 28th, we see Venus opposing retrograde Neptune in Pisces, your fourth house. So a Venus retrograde Neptune opposition is trying to give you an opportunity to release something and change something up in your home dynamic, in your family situation, in your real estate or property concerns, your sanctuary. Venus is so demanding and so busy in that workplace that it could be throwing something off in the home life or your sense of stability. So we want to be able to release tension here and not be too opposed to giving more time and attention to the fourth house matters of home and family. You may be very important in your workplace. You may do all the heavy lifting and feel there's a lot going on and needed from you in your work life, but the home needs attention too. So there's that tension of creating more stability, even though you're extremely busy at this time with Venus transiting in that 10th house. On the 29th, we've got Venus ingressing into her domicile sign of Libra, your 11th house. Venus in Libra does very well, quite simply because Venus is all about connecting. But in Libra, it's intellectual connection and feeling that we find value with education and communication. So a fantastic transit in that 11th house of allies and advocates that help you in your workspace, in your professional life, your friendships, groups and organizations. There's a lot of interaction and dialogue and exchange going on, but of an intellectual nature that you will enjoy. On the same day, when Venus does ingress into her home sign of Libra, your 11th house, Venus is trining retrograde Pluto in Aquarius, your third house. A Venus Pluto trine, what's easier is reconnecting or finding value that you overlooked or missed. So missing friends, missing the value of having the banter, having the fun dialogue and exchange and laughing again, possibly looking at going back to old places and revisiting old faces that gives you a sense of joy and interaction and pleasure and a lot of mental stimulation. So a great day on the 29th of August. Venus, very, very busy this month for you, Sagittarius rising, and for all of us, but a lot of changes going on with relationships, dynamics, and values. Sagittarius rising, what a dynamic month of August for you. I trust you have a fabulous one. I'm Cosmic Girl 101 signing off. Thank you for joining me here. If you like tarot, I've uploaded the monthly tarot for the sun signs for the month, for the rising signs. If tarot is a divinatory tool that is of interest to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you the next time you come across Cosmic Girl 101 YouTube channel.